Okay, this is my newest ship in the same map or level or whatever it is I had my other mining ships in. The Shai-Hulud and the Muad'Dib. Well, my whole Dune theme here. This one I really couldn't come up with a good name for it, so I just simply stuck with the whole Dune theme. Just simply called it the Guild Miner. It kind of in a way it just ironically kind of took on the shape, kind of a general basic shape of the guild ships from Dune anyways, the big round cigar looking things. I didn't even realize how, compared to some of these other ships, how just kind of basic monolithic looking, structure. Anyways, look at it from top down. It's not really round, it's not really like completely octagonal, it's more squared off with kind of, these are actually the flat sides, these are the angles here. Kind of trying to go for a more roundish color and shaped ship, but the squarish kind of thing is fine for me. Unlike my other ships that actually have a massive drill head on the front, and the entire drill head itself rotates, the Shai-Hulud actually has standard traditional drill heads with collector units, kind of checkerboard pattern interwoven into it. The drills on the outer edge, the whole head rotates, so it can drill straight in without it rotating, or have it rotate and drill straight in. Actually takes damage on the outer drill heads if you push it too much or shifts a little bit. The Muad'Dib is a improved version on the same exact concept, except it uses laser drill heads, which chew through the rock much faster and much more efficient. The Shai-Hulud collects probably, I'd say, about 90-95% of the ore in this mining, maybe a little more. Fair amount of the ore actually gets deflected away from the drill heads as it's mining, mainly because I also have gravity generators behind the drill heads that actually pull the loose floating ore into the collector system. The Muad'Dib, on the other hand, I don't know why, but I guess apparently the laser drill heads actually pull in 100% of the ore they mine, so there's no debris being flung around. So the Muad'Dib is a little bit more efficient driller. It drills faster, much greater amount of ore, and this one actually works a lot better with the rotating head. Doesn't take nearly as much damage unless you end up shifting the vessel side to side a little bit, or angle a little bit while they're drilling. But unlike these ones, and I still have some stuff to do on it. All the Muad'Dib and the Shai-Hulud both have 8 large cargo containers inside with these connectors to offload the ore and stuff as needed, but they're only ore collecting vessels, are not actual manufacturing facilities. The Guild Miner, on the other hand, does not employ a rotating drill head. It does take a cue from the Muad'Dib by using a massive amount of end up doing a cut and paste by accident, by using a massive amount of laser drill heads. Yeah, this thing will should be able to shoot. I've not even use this yet. The main business part of the ship itself is fairly complete. I'd say about 80% complete. But yeah, this part is the main business part. I've got a single floodlight on the bottom for it. I forget how many drill heads. I think it's like something like 100, 160 something drill heads on the bottom here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 main decks inside the guild miner. The bottom deck here. The reason in a little bit I'll explain why the doors are on the outside on here, but. Okay, inside we've got the total of 9 nuclear reactors. They're small reactors, mainly just intended to power the drill heads and the conveyor systems and all that stuff. I've got defense turrets down here just in case somebody decides to come in and sabotage it. Each one of these gravity generators, 4 of them, they exert about 1/4 G, so all together about 1 G of force. The reason why it's showing 2 G's of force right now is because I have a single gravity generator at the very top of the ship. Once you get up to the top, you kind of exceed the range of these generators. So I got another one up there for a little extra gravitational force. So, but anyways, these are the main gravity generators for down here. And we go up the next deck. I'll kind of explain why here. Underneath in front of each door, underneath here, embedded in the front of the ship, are 4 ore detectors on all 4 corners. Rather than having them sticking out on the side of the ship or embedded in the drill heads where they can get damaged, I decided to embed them actually behind the drill heads in the hull. This is the second deck. This is the mining deck. The whole point of the mining guild ship is that it's supposed to find a very large asteroid and activate the main drill heads. Start boring into the surface. Once it gets to a certain depth, the next deck above actually houses 4 pistons. The pistons themselves have drill heads attached to them. They're not connected to the conveyor system. All the drills underneath us are connected to the main conveyor system going up to the next deck. All the collectors down here are basically, well actually we'll just go up to the next deck and I'll kind of show here. Before I forget, there's a spherical gravity generator in here as well. It's actually shut off right now. I'll explain the reason why in a bit here. Make my way over to the other. This is the plumb. I refer to as the plumbing deck. It's got a bunch of small cargo containers. It's kind of the stage 1 cargo storage area. A lot of small cargo containers. All the cargo containers are all connected to the conveyor system. Inside each of these wall sections right here are 4 pistons. I can actually just activate here. I've got what I refer to as anchor shaft pistons. I'll just activate the pistons themselves and show you. These pistons here actually protrude outwards. They have laser drills attached to them. The laser drills chew into the surrounding asteroid more easier than the regular drill heads will. I'll probably adjust the piston rate in which it pushes out just so it's a little bit slower. This whole system actually is not contained or connected to the conveyor system. The main purpose of this is basically just to anchor the entire ship into the asteroid. It's not really a really super secure anchor because pistons aren't that strong. Bulk of the piston base itself is actually well secured in the base or in the ship. These parts right here, the drill heads, will probably snap off, but it's basically just supposed to lightly secure the whole ship into the asteroid. So basically, the entire ship basically drills and sinks into the asteroid. Once it reaches a certain depth, then the pistons will be activated and drill basically out to hold them in. Using the laser drill heads, you can override the thruster rating on it, and actually, if you end up from what I understand, if you actually override the thrusters too much, it can actually propel you. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to anchor the thing in, so this way, hopefully, if I did override it to increase the drilling capability, it would then, anchor the entire ship in and not break free. The other thing is that the entire ship itself is not really intended to be a going from one asteroid to another ship like this one is. It's more or less kind of a anchoring platform. It's an entire self-contained refinery facility is what it is. It's kind of like a freaking brain fart. An offshore drilling, oil drilling platform, kind of. It's basically set up, drill into an asteroid, anchor itself, and then start mining from the inside out. That's why the doors are on here. You've got the main power deck down there. You got the mining deck. Once you're secured into the asteroid, you can open up the doors and literally start mining by hand with drills and whatnot from inside the ship. The ore, you can have your character, your player, pick up the ore by hand, go back to the ship, drop it into the collectors, or just keep drilling, let it collect on the tunnel floor. Go back in the ship, turn off the main gravity, the base gravity is I refer to the 4 generators at the bottom, turn that off, activate the spherical gravity generator, and pull that ore in through the doorways into the central chamber, shut that off, turn the base gravity on, drops into the collectors, just as a kind of a cleanup method, lack of a better word, kind of a cleanup system. So, yeah. The second deck, the refinery deck, you can also mine from up there if you needed to. I might see about installing some collector systems to set up for that as well. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do, but basically, I haven't gotten into the refinery deck yet, so yeah, basically just, you know, it sinks into an asteroid, secures the position, and then you basically start mining the asteroid deep inside the asteroid from within. And then, you know, as you're building, collecting ore, refining it, there's a whole bunch of assemblers inside there too, so you can actually create parts and whatnot, and basically start building an actual space station or port or whatever actually on the top platform of part itself. I haven't even started with that part of the ship yet. I'll be adding probably more onto it, a little bit taller. Basically, when I'm done, the ship should be almost twice as long as it is now. The main reason why is I had to put on some forward thrusters, some forward firing thrusters, rear firing deceleration thrusters. I also have to install some sort of lateral, you know, attitude adjustment thrusters as well. In the mining deck, there's a whole bunch of gyros lined on the ceiling. In the refinery deck, on two of the opposite side walls, there's actually gyros installed, so as far as turning goes and whatnot, it shouldn't be that bad. But yeah, like this is a stage 1 area for cargo storage. I had to figure out some way of making a walkway up here to get to the next deck. And this is the refinery deck. This is the main shaft all the way up to the top of the ship there. One side of the ship actually is all just a ton of small cargo containers. There is gyros lined up there, and there's gyros lined up over here. I've got piping comes up here and distributes to all 3 sections. I've got 3 refineries stacked on top of each other. Each one is supplied. They're connected, but they're also conveyor system attached to them, so all 3 can be fed. I've got 3 or 4 assemblers over here, and I think I got 3 or 4 arc furnaces or blast furnaces over here for uranium and other types of ores for like power reactors and whatnot. Refinery, I realized I had basically up here the refinery, all the piping coming in and then coming out of it is connected to the central shaft that goes up to the top here. There is no direct connection from the piping that comes in from the bottom to the top in order for product to flow through that. From there to there, it has to go through the assembler, refinery, or arc furnace, whatever is needed. I actually added additional piping coming out. Basically, this tubing here, I think, comes out after stuff has been refined. The top there comes out after it's been refined, goes to this conveyor, and can either go here and then there and up to whatever storage. Can come down here to this conveyor system, over here to all this storage. It can also go back down this tube down here down to the assemblers and be processed and then basically back out again. I don't know, it's kind of confusing. I'm not really sure if I got the thing set up right, but once I start mining stuff, we'll find out one way or the other, and it's just a matter of just redoing some of the plumbing. There's more than enough space in here to do that. But yeah, all the plumbing looks like a little confusing kind of mess, but like I said, figure out if it works or not. Anyways, all of it comes up to here or down here and up into the conveyor box and whatnot for the up above, where eventually it'll connect to the main ship part itself with additional large cargo containers and other stuff. And of course, you know, it's got plenty of storage here. So basically, this entire ship itself, the ultimate plan is to be able to create a second part of the ship using the merge blocks, so they can lock on, and basically the secondary part of the ship, the propulsion parts, can actually separate and go and get another mining guild unit attached to it and actually sink it in. So basically, this whole section of ship can actually function completely on its own without any other, you know, major part of the ship needed. Lost now. I just put a little extra balcony deck or whatever just for kind of looking over the thing. Various defense turrets on each of the decks to protect against, you know, people invading. The walls of the ship aren't really thick, but they're about the equivalent of about 2 blocks or so thick armor plating. I think the outer door area is only 1 block thick, might be 2 blocks, I forget right offhand. But yeah, with this one, with all the cargo containers, they actually function as some sort of extra armor plating, so, you know, whatever. Ship wasn't really designed for combat anyways, so. One thing I really wish wish they had brought back the ladders that they originally had in these pieces. I don't know why they decided to get rid of them. You have ships with gravity. It's a pain in the ass to have to use your jetpack to fly around in. But yeah, and here's the conveyor for the top part to extend to the ship. I just put this beacon and gravity generator and control panel up here for right now until I build it up. But the central part of the ship here that connects this part and the propulsion part would probably be kind of tapered down a bit and then connected again, or widen out or whatever. I've got to basically create some kind of tug vessel that can push it into place. That or build a flight deck, control deck, whatever. That is positioning your view this way. Otherwise, if I put a cockpit on the way it is right now, you'll be flying the ship. You'd be flying the ship this way, like going forward. This would be right, and that'd be left, and this way back, this way would be reverse. And it's really awkward. Could easily put a few blocks along here, put a cockpit this way, so this is the back ship, that's in front, and this is side to side, up, down, whatever. But it's just easier to build an actual propulsion section ship that would normally fly like that and literally just push this thing into the asteroid, which basically is how these ships are piloted. The drill head is pushed into the ship, and the cockpit is actually right there. So he just basically pushes in. I'd have to probably figure out some similar kind of idea or propulsion system as that for this. But I want to be able to make it much taller, up, well, somewhere up around here, so this way I can have forward firing thrusters and several on 4 axes or whatever. Forward firing thrusters for deceleration as well. Don't want the entire thing to go into the asteroid, and if they make a ship that pushes in wider than the thing itself, then of course that ship ain't gonna be able to enter into the asteroid. But I could build a small propulsion ship that would do the same as well. I had to figure out some way of putting forward firing thrusters on it, but keep the thrusters far enough away from the main hull on this part so it doesn't damage it, which is kind of what I had to do with these two. Go back here and take a look at them, kind of show the rear firing thrusters here for forward momentum. There's top and side and bottom thrusters for up, down, left, right, whatever. But I've also got forward firing thrusters here. I'm gonna have to make sure that they're not too close to the actual primary, whatever, the actual drill head section. So in the same way, I've got to do that with that if I were to build a propulsion vessel part that actually isn't too much wider than the actual drill section itself. In theory, I could make this a whole big rotating section thing, but because there's so much mass to it, the rear section would have to have a fair amount of mass itself, if not double the amount of mass that this has, which would be a real pain in the ass to have to build a ship with that much mass. Basically, I would have to build something twice the size of this behind it with the rotating section on it, and then hope and pray that the rotator head can rotate it at a decent speed instead of sitting there for 10 minutes waiting for it to spin up. But with the laser drills, I shouldn't even need to do that. So, but yeah, this is basically my current project. I've been working on it for about 4 or 5 hours. the bulk of the main hull itself is pretty much done. I just got to do some extra little shit. Put some find it here. There we go. There's a lot of different mods and stuff like that I'm using. Reaction control system thruster, which apparently I can't use for a large ship. Okay, forget that. Could use modular thruster system with smaller thrusters. Which, as you can see, would be a real pain in the ass to have these things sticking out, which means I'd have to build them recessed in somehow, and obviously I'd have to go and redo some of the interior part of it, so this way these things are sunk in. Basically, I would have to place them like that, actually delete blocks. I more or less have to do something like that, but further down. I need thrusters down here and up there and whatnot. So yeah, it would. I'll have to figure something out. In theory, I could place the thrusters inside the ship. And place them like that, so this way I get propulsion thrust inside the ship. And that would be my move to the left, I move my right, up, down, actually placing thrusters inside the ship. But the refinery section is the only section that's got a fair amount of space, and unfortunately there's a lot of plumbing in there where thrusters would end up damaging the ship. I mean, I could even install thrusters at the base floor and at the top for forward and whatnot, forward and backward thrust, but I have to figure out something. Might be able to place something in between mid-deck where the deck floor is at. Can't do that. That's what elevator shafts are at for the up and down. Could in theory do something like that on each side of the elevator shaft. And see, and then I get screwed with doing that here, so. Yeah, I should take care of that. anyways, I'll have to see about messing with this more when I have more time and build on it and stuff. But you know, at least now I have some lateral thrusters and forward deceleration thrusters. Although I probably could have used the drill heads as a makeshift propulsion system. Activate forward drill heads and override the thrusters and basically propel it backwards. But we'll see how it works. I mean, those thrusters might take some damage with drilling in the first place. So if it does, then you know, and then have to figure out something else. But yeah, so I'll have to see about working on the main ship part, actually the back end of the command decks area here, and then the main ship part, as well as do a lot of little extra shit inside the main ship here, adding interior lights and I don't know, computer screens and shit like that, whatever. But yeah, when it comes to building the ships, I usually don't spend too much time painting the ships. It just takes too damn long to sit there and figure out what color you want and then whatever. I just really wish they would actually have some kind of mode or something inside the game itself, or even an external program that you can actually load various models that you and ships you've made, and actually put them into a 3D program where you can actually paint on them in 3D, like you can do with some of the 3D animation rendering software programs out there. It'd be kind of nice to be able to just paint on the model, so to speak, itself, rotate the model as needed, and add decals, or paint on one side and have it mirrored on the other side, or however you want it done, instead of having to change the color of every single damn little block that you want in the game. You know, maybe still allow that for people that want to mess with that, but for the rest of us that want to actually just build the damn ship and then paint it afterwards, yeah, because otherwise, you know, it takes so long to build the ships, and then top it all off, you got to sit there and paint them afterwards, or paint them while you're building it, and yet you really still might have no clue how the ship's going to look, in which case it's hard to visualize a paint job on it. So anyways, that's the ship for right now. So